Welcome to our listeners, and we're looking at the Church Fathers today, St. John Climacus, the ladder of divine ascent. With us again is Geronda Savvas Lavriotis, who's going to help us understand the text. How are you, Geronda?
I'm okay, thank you.
Would you like to say an overview of who St. John Climacus is?
John the Sinaitis is one of the most important uh, monks, we can say, that represent the ascetic life of our church. And that's why the church uh, uh, um, gave him, dedicate the fourth week, the fourth Sunday of the Great Lent, to celebrate his memory, because he's one of the most important persons that, as I said to you before, he is representing the way of life that the monks and the Christians in general they have to do, and that's why he wrote this book, because he was asked for this, and he was the abbot of the monastery of Saint Catherine in Sina, in the 7th century. And his work of this book is so important that also a lot of psychologists and other people that they are not belong in the Christianity, they say that it's very important because with this book, someone is able to understand the way that the human soul is working and the passions. And for us is very important because is the way that we have to understand how we have to get rid of our passions and sins, and to reach the theosis and the connection between God and the human person. That's why it's very important, and that's why the church is honor him by giving him the fourth Sunday in his memory, to remind us how important is, and that our goal as human beings is to be gods, to reach theosis, and with this to help also other people to clean themselves inside, and to reach the salvation.
Okay. So this book, The Heavenly Ladder, has this famous image that is usually shown. So basically, the author on the left, which is St. John Climacus, is indicating that there are 6 monks who are about to begin their ascent. So they're the 6 monks, and they're about to go up the ladder. So the ladder actually has 30 steps here, which is actually the 30 steps that St. John Climacus has outlined as important steps to help someone develop their spirituality here on earth to get to heaven. Okay. So as we said, it's got a few monks are actually climbing the ladder, and there are 2 monks that are falling off the ladder, and there's a dragon at the bottom. So basically, that's indicating that during our spiritual, development, even the devil's always trying to interfere, and some people, fall off their journey because the devil has tempted them somehow. Did you want to say something there, Geronda?
Yes, this is the point that in the end of the ladder, if you see, it's Jesus Christ waiting to welcome the people that are going through this trip, this travel, by cleansing themselves and try to reach God. But also there is the falling, that this is something that happens to everybody of us, but we don't have to remain in our fall. We have to lift ourselves and to try again to go up until we reach God. So that's why is the repent, that is very important. It's divine. It's divine and give us the opportunity to start over again.
Yeah, so for the listeners, we're in the Internet Archive, which is an online library, and we've done a search to find this book, which is available in full text for free. And that's how you can come back and read it in detail. We will give an overview here because it is quite a lengthy book. So St. John CLIMACUS, The Ladder of Divine Ascent, has been translated by Archimandrite Lazarus Moore. Okay, and we'll just continue on to the contents page probably. Here we go. So the contents page, just at a glance, obviously they're going to introduce a few things here and some letters, and then it goes on to the different steps, which are the key points. That'll start on page 49. All right, so let's find page 49. Let's go to about, let's just go here for a sec. Actually, I think, all right, so step 1 on the renunciation of the world. Let's just see what else we can do here. Now, I'll just get that to there. Now, let's just have a look at something here. Okay, I'm just having a glance at how this is set up. All right, so what I'll do is we'll have to actually read step 1, and we'll read and stop, and you can add points there, Geronda. So step 1 on renunciation of the world. Can you see the text okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Better, yeah.
Yeah, so our God and King is good, ultra good, and all good. It is best to begin with God in writing to the servants of God, of the rational beings created by him and honoured with the dignity of free will. Some are his friends, others are his true servants. Some are worthless, some are completely estranged from God, and others, though feeble creatures, are equally his opponents. So here it's saying that God has created everything, but there's a distinction about who is in the world.
Yes, and he has explained what his means. If you continue, it's very important.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so by friends of God, dear and holy Father, we simple people mean, properly speaking, those intellectual and incorporeal beings which surround God. By true servants of God, we mean all those who tirelessly and unremittingly do and have done his will. By worthless servants, we mean those who think of themselves as having been granted baptism, but have not faithfully kept the vows they made to God. By those estranged from God and alienated from him, we mean those who are unbelievers or heretics. Finally, the enemies of God are those who have not only evaded and rejected the Lord's commandment themselves, but who also wage bitter war on those who are fulfilling it. Are there any is there anything coming to your mind that you want to say here?
It's very important because we have to, when we read this, we have to keep it in our mind always, because you see, friends of God are the heavenly power, heavenly army of God, is the angels. Then the servants that they are doing their will is the people here that they are baptized and they are trying the best, and they have a sanctified life. And then the other people that they are not keeping their promises of the baptism that they gave in the time of their baptism, are the people that they belong to Jesus Christ, but they are not worthy. And it's very important to see the other category, that the heretics, the unbelievers, they are these people that they are not connected and they are against God, we can say. So this is something that we know, for example, now they are changing so much all these pathetic theory of what we have to do, that they say that all the people are able to be saved. It doesn't matter who you believe. You have to be a good person, and that's all. But we see here that the first thing that the saint is giving us is that if you are an heretic or an unbeliever, you are against God and you are not able to be saved. So you see how the distance between the Holy Fathers and the today in brackets fathers of the church, what they say and what they have to say. It's very important.
And it's interesting, as you said, like there are the true servants who do his will, and then there are the worthless servants who, even though they're baptized, cannot do his will.
Exactly.
So, okay. And then, of course, there was also those who were estranged from God or alienated, such as the unbelievers or the heretics. All right.
Yes.
Now, so each of the classes mentioned above might well have a special treatise devoted to it, but for simple folk like us, it would not be profitable at this point to enter into such lengthy investigations. Come then in unquestioning obedience, let us stretch out our unworthy hand to the true servants of God, who devoutly compel us and in their faith constrain us by their commands. Let us write this treatise with a pen taken from their knowledge and dipped in the ink of humility, which is both subdued yet radiant. Then let us apply it to the smooth white paper of their hearts, or rather rest it on the tablets of the Spirit, and let us inscribe the divine words, or rather sow the seeds. And let us begin like this. Now, so in step 1, there's point 3, God belongs to all free beings. He is the life of all, the salvation of all, faithful and unfaithful, just and unjust, pious and impious, passionate and dispassionate, monks and seculars, wise and simple, healthy and sick, young and old, just as the diffusion of light, the sight of the sun and the changes of the weather are for all alike, for there is no respect of persons with God. Would you like to say something there?
It's very obvious. I think that God is for everybody and try to save everybody, and but how this is going to happen, we will see below.
All right, so point 4. The irreligious man is a mortal being with a rational nature, who of his own free will turns his back on life and thinks of his own maker, the ever-existent, as non-existent. The lawless man is one who holds the law of God after his own depraved fashion and thinks to combine faith in God with heresy that is directly opposed to him. The Christian is one who imitates Christ in thought, word, and deed as far as is possible for human beings, believing rightly and blamelessly in the Holy Trinity. Do you want to say anything there?
Yes. Now, Saint John is making each person not divide, but he's giving us the characteristics of each person, and that is very important because we have to see what is each of us, who we belong, and after this he's going to take one of these, the monks, to start to to analyze what he have to do and how he is going to reach theosis.
That's right. And in this first point, the renunciation of the world is basically saying to be a Christian, one has to imitate Christ in thought, word, and deed as far as is possible for human beings, believe
Exactly.
rightly and blamelessly in the Holy Trinity.
Yes.
Okay, the lover of God is he who lives in communion with all that is natural and sinless, and as far as he is able, neglects nothing good. The continent man is he who, in the midst of temptations, snares, and turmoil, strives with all his might to imitate the ways of him who is free from such. The monk is he who, within his earthly and soiled body, toils towards the rank and state of the incorporeal beings. A monk is he who strictly controls his nature and unceasingly watches over his senses. A monk is he who keeps his body in chastity, his mouth pure, and his mind illumined. A monk is a morning soul that both asleep and awake is unceasingly occupied with the remembrance of death. Do you feel that way? Every day you think of death?
Yes, so every day we think of death, and not every day, every hour we have to think of death, every moment, because we are trained and we are preparing ourselves for this moment. We live to die. This is our philosophy, and it's not only us, because everybody is going to die, but the monks are living because they are preparing themselves, and they prepare themselves to be clean and to be worthy and to be acceptable by God. So in the last moment of our earthly life, we will be ready to meet our Creator and to be with Him. You know, this is why we become monks, because we are waiting not to die, but to begin the real life, that is the other life, not this life.
Right. Yeah, withdrawal from the world is voluntary hatred of vaunted material things and denial of nature for the attainment of what is above nature. All who have willingly left the things of the world have certainly done so either for the sake of the future kingdom, or because of the multitude of their sins, or for the love of God. If they were not moved by any of these reasons, their withdrawal from the world was unreasonable.
Exactly.
But God, who sets our contests, waits to see what the end of our course will be. So the man who has withdrawn from the world in order to shake off his own burden of sins should imitate those who sit outside the city amongst the tombs, and should not discontinue his hot and fiery streams of tears and voiceless, heartfelt groanings until he, too, sees that Jesus has come to him and rolled away the stone of hardness from his heart and loosed Lazarus, that is to say, our mind, from the bands of sin, and ordered his attendant angels, loose him from passions and let him go to blessed dispassion. Otherwise, he will have gained nothing. You want to say something there?
Here is things that the monks, that also, it's not only for the monks, but also for the other people, that they are mourning their sins and they repent for what they've done. They have to continue to do it until they will see that Jesus Christ, He will come and release them from not only the sins, but also from the passion, from the passions that they are connected, because it's very important to understand, and this is revealing something very important, that whatever we do, we are not able to release the passions from inside. We have to wait Jesus Christ to come to release us from this, and that's why we are waiting Him. The work that we do is that we have to ask for him, to beg him, and to pray to take these passions from us. It's very important. Only Jesus Christ can come and release us from this, you know.
That's
That's why
right.
it's very important. Yeah, it's very important to read these texts, because whatever we say, of course, whatever we say and I say, it's according to the Holy Fathers. But what we are doing now, reading the text and going according to the text, is the most important thing, because people, they are not reading anymore the Holy Fathers. They don't take under consideration this, and they don't. The most important, they don't analyze all these things.
That's right. Yeah, so if you don't head towards Jesus, otherwise you will have gained nothing. When life
Exactly.
ends, you will have gained nothing, no everlasting
Exactly.
life. Those of us who wish to go out to Egypt and to fly from Pharaoh certainly need some Moses as a mediator with God and from God, who, standing between action and contemplation, will raise hands of prayer for us to God, so that guided by him we may cross the sea of sin and rout the Amalek of the passions. That is why those who have surrendered themselves to God deceive themselves if they suppose that they have no need of a director. So
Yes.
if someone doesn't realize they need Jesus or they need direction from Jesus, they've deceived themselves. So, so this is essentially point one, the renunciation of the world. Step one.
Yes, and this is saying that we need a spiritual father to guide us to Jesus Christ, and to guide us to the spiritual life. That is something that is very difficult. The spiritual life is not something simple. I have a lot of traps inside, that if you don't know how to escape, you will be trapped forever there. You know, that's why we need someone very expert in the
Mm.
spiritual life to guide us, and to humiliate us, and to help us to conquer the virtue, and also to be humble. Because to be humble, you need a spiritual father to be there for you and to obey to him. Otherwise, you can do nothing.
You need to read the Bible.
Also,
Mm. Those who
also,
came out of Egypt had Moses as their guide, and those who fled from Sodom had an angel. So what
yes.
we do?
Here says that the people that they left Egypt, that Egypt is symbolize the passions and the sins, and also the Sodom is a symbolism, the symbolism of the sins, and the life that don't is not according to the to the will of God. Uh, Now, Saint John says that these people need a guider. So we that we are in this state, we also need a guider, to a spiritual guider, to lead us to God.
Mhm. That is why they need a helper, an angel, so to speak, or at least one equal to an angel.
Exactly.
So we need a director, it's saying here. Okay. Do you think that covers enough of step one? Do you want to go to step two, or you want to keep going like this?
I think we have to go like this, because we will find many, many important things inside.
Okay. So this will be
Yeah.
our new 10-month study at this rate.
Who knows? But it
Who
will
knows?
be, for sure, it will be very important and very helpful for all the people, because we
Okay.
have to take all the meaning from this.
Mhm. Yep. So, for in proportion to the corruption of our wounds, we need a director who is indeed an expert and a physician. We need someone who's an expert to explain things to us, but we also need a physician who heals.
Yes, this means that the person that we are uh, choose that to be our spiritual father, must have this experience and have to go through this, to go through this, and so he knows he's an expert. He's not. He's a captain and not a sailor. No.
Mm. Those who aim at ascending with the body to heaven need violence indeed and constant suffering, especially in the early stages of their renunciation, until our pleasure-loving dispositions and unfeeling hearts attain to love of God and chastity by visible sorrow. A great toil, very great indeed, with much unseen suffering, especially for those who live carelessly, until by simplicity, deep angerlessness, and diligence, we make our mind, which is a greedy kitchen dog, addicted to barking, a lover of chastity and watchfulness. But let us who are weak and passionate have the courage to offer our infirmity and natural weakness to Christ with unhesitating faith and confess it to him, and we shall be certain to obtain his help, even beyond our merit, if only we unceasingly go right down to the depth of humility.
Exactly.
So it sounds like what they're saying is in the start, when you're trying to take the right road, that there's a lot of violence that occurs.
Yes, and a lot of
Suffering.
yes, a lot of yes, and a war, because the devil is trying to put you back where you was, and you are fighting to go out of this because you are weak in the first steps, and you need more the power of Jesus Christ to help you to go this path. It's very difficult.
Yes, it's a great toil, it says, especially for those who are living very carelessly, until by simplicity, things
Mhm.
change.
Yes.
Okay. All who enter upon the good fight, which is hard and narrow, but also easy, must realize that they must leap into the fire if they really expect the celestial fire to dwell in them.
Yes.
But let everyone examine himself, and so let him eat the bread of it, which its bitter herbs, and let him drink the cup of it with its tears, lest his service lead to his own judgment. If everyone who has been baptized has not been saved, I shall be silent about what follows.
It's very important. If everybody who has been baptized has not been saved, it means that it's not the baptism that saves us.
That's
It's
right.
the give us the opportunity to be saved, but it's up to us. We have to go through this. We have to work our life to save ourselves. It's not free. It's free because God help us, but needs our contribution. That is our fight.
Yeah. Baptism is very important because you get your guardian angel, you get the charisma of the Holy Spirit, you get all this
Exactly.
protection. It's very important. But if your actions aren't going to be leading towards Jesus, it's not going to save you, even if you've been baptized.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Number 10, those who enter this contest must renounce all things, despise all things, deride all things, and shake off all things, that they may lay a firm foundation. A good foundation of 3 layers and 3 pillars is innocence, fasting, and temperance.
Mhm.
Let all babes in Christ begin with these virtues, taking as their model the natural babes, for you never find in them anything sly or deceitful. They have no insatiate appetite, nor insatiable stomach, no body on fire, but perhaps as they grow in proportion as they take more food, their natural passions also increase.
Yes, this is how we have to set our foundation in these 3 pillars. is innocence, fasting, and temperance. Meaning that we have to work in these three pillars to establish the virtue in these three pillars, because otherwise it's not be able to build your house, the virtue, if you don't have these three pillars, these three virtues. That's very important.
Point 11. To lag in the fight at the very outset of the struggle and thereby to furnish proof of our coming defeat is a very hateful and dangerous thing. A firm beginning will certainly be useful for us when we later grow slack. So what does that mean? A soul?
Yes.
Okay, a soul that is strong at first, but then relaxes, is spurred on by the memory of its former zeal. And in this way, new wings are often obtained.
Yeah, meaning that you have to begin with your spiritual life with zeal. You have to begin with power, with to be strong. Because even if in the middle of your road you are losing power, and you are losing uh, 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 the desire to continue, because sometimes it happens, you have to remind yourself how you began, that you was hot in the spiritual life, the zeal was there all the time, and then you, by remembering your beginning, it will give you, it will push you to finish your road.
Point 12 here. When the soul betrays itself and loses the blessed and longed for fervor, let it carefully investigate the reason for losing this, and let it arm itself with all its longing and zeal against whatever has caused this. For the former fervor can return only through the same door through which it was lost.
Exactly. If we are losing our zeal and the passion that we have to go back and to see why we lost it, what we've done, and stop this. And by this is gain again the desire that we had to continue our road.
That's right. So it's always important because we often, fall, we try, we fall, we get up, we try again. But when you fall, you should analyze what went wrong. Why did this happen?
Exactly.
To strengthen yourself spiritually. The man who renounces the world from fear is like burning incense that begins with fragrance but ends in smoke. He who leaves the world through hope of reward is like a millstone that always moves in the same way. But he who withdraws from the world out of the love for God has obtained fire at the very outset, and like fire set to fuel, it soon kindles a larger fire.
Yeah, here is analyzing the three kind of people that they go out of the world and they go to become monks. The first is the one that he's doing for his sins, but if you do this without something more, it's like you repeat yourself and you remain stable. You don't proceed yourself to the spirituality. The other one is because he wants to be to the heaven, but also this is not the right reason that we are going out of this society. The right reason is because of the love of God, and if you do it for this reason, then you are you have how can I say in English, your spiritual life is growing every day, because it's not something that will keep you away from Christ, but growing this love for God, you are going higher and higher in the spirituality, and this is very important.
Number 14. Some build bricks upon stones, others set pillars on the bare ground, and there are some who go on a short distance and, having got their muscles and joints warm, go faster. Whoever can understand, let him understand this allegorical word.
Yes, very allegorical. It means that the people that they build bricks upon stones is that they add their how can I say uh, uh, what they believe on the stones, but it's not the same thing to build bricks on the stones. It's not matching. You have to continue with stones, not with bricks. It means that you are doing your will, and this is not leading you somewhere. Or the others that set pillars on the bare ground means that you don't have to set the pillars on the bare ground, but you have to set it in a steady ground that it's like a cement, and you don't do what you have to do to build your house. But the third one, that he's not building, but short distance. He's going short distance and having their muscle and joint warms means that the person that actually he's beginning his spiritual life not in a good condition, but after this he's getting warm with the love of God, then this is the person that proceed his spirituality and goes toward to Jesus, because we have to know that we don't have to go towards to Jesus by a static to be static, to be there. We have to go, we have to run towards
Mhm.
Jesus and not to build something that it will be static.
That's right. Just quickly check how many. There's a few points here, so we'll have to leave it just there and come back
Okay.
to point 15 next time. So, final words for the listeners?
The final words from the listeners is that this book, especially this book, is the most important book, one of the most important books of the Christianity and of the spiritual world of Christians. And if this book, someone is able to understand it and to do what this book says inside, then his spiritual life will be, how can I say, it will be genuine and help him to go towards Jesus Christ. It's a book that reflects all the sense and the act of the our church, and they are the secrets, we can say, of the spirituality, how to conquer spirituality. That's why it's one of the most important books of Orthodoxy.
Mm. Yeah, it's definitely covering things, in great detail, that's for sure, to help people develop their spirituality. All right,
Exactly.
thanks, Geronda, and have God bless you and our listeners, and see you next time.
God bless you.